My ass just scrolling through Twitter, unbothered, watching people blow out their keyboards in all caps. Muted, muted, muted. Does he know he's muted? Is something wrong with my speakers? Muted, muted, muted. My ass scrolling. Chiblee. I want a real cheeseburger, not some fancy deconstructed avant bullshit. Crazy hamburger.gif. Click the heart on that one. Scroll down a little bit more. The way they characterize Shaggy in the Velma show goes against who Shaggy is at his core. Okay, is there a button I can click that is, please don't show me anything about adult cartoons? Whether positive or negative, I simply don't care. Not interested in this tweet from @Scooby-Doo History, which is a real thing. Okay, if I wanted to go to the Scooby-Doo Museum, I would move to the Midwest. Okay, as of right now, I live on a coast. I expect a healthier dose of culture than that. I'm going to go to my muted words and I'm going to put Velma in there. Why you got to clown on the Midwest? Because Ontario in some ways is like the Midwest of Canada. I know how you talk about the coastal elites. Yeah, I mean, listen, I hear you. They got great museums and all that, but where are you supposed to park when you go to eat at Boston Pizza? There's no parking spot. You got to pay for street parking? I don't think so. And listen, I visited my son out there, and it's beautiful, don't get me wrong. Then you go to Starbucks, and they're like, a cup of coffee? This $3.75. $3.75? What? Where I come from is $3.15. Where do you get the right? I was kind of losing it when I had my sports arc this weekend, and every time there is an advertisement window, there's always an ad for Boston Pizza in Canada. Here's how the new ad starts. At Boston Pizza, we're making every day Pasta Tuesday. Can somebody tell me what the fuck that even means? Is Pasta Tuesday a thing? Taco Tuesday I'll accept, because at least it's like alliterative. But I don't understand. They basically said we're making every day into something that doesn't exist. Wendy's has the same commercial with fries. Oh, Boston Pizza does. Am I supposed to know that? Was that in the required reading? Pasta is half price on Tuesdays at Boston Pizza. You know what's fucked up? They should not make it 7 days. They should make it 6 days. Because if pasta is half price 7 days a week, then that shit is full price. On Sundays, they should make it full price so that the other days, you know, for comparison's sake, it looks better. The ad is also insulting because they say something like, or for $4 more, upgrade to gourmet pasta. And then they show literally just like a spaghetti with meat sauce. And I'm like, what makes this gourmet? First off, I'm at Boston Pizza, so none of it's gourmet. I saw the Cisco truck in the loading bay on the way in, but like, I guess the half-price pastas have no sauce? It's just noodles? I'm not going to disrespect Boston Pizza too much because, I mean, I don't eat there, but the pierogi pizza, sometimes it could go a little hard. I would never go there for like a normal pizza, but if, you know, if I played beer league hockey and it got out at 8:30 p.m. and there was nothing else open in my town, I would go there and split a pierogi pizza with my left winger. Is Boston Pizza the same as Boston Market? Nope, not at all. How is the Peloton today? I should not have ridden. I thought I was 100% this morning. I got on the bike and during the warm-up, my legs were screaming, and I said, well, let's take it easy today. So I'm proud of myself for doing it, but it's a 45-minute 2000s pop ride. Average wattage was like 157. Typical average wattage, 195 to 210. So we're definitely a little bit under usual right now. I just feel like drained. I feel drained of fluid. This is how I feel right now. I need to drink some Gatorade. I drank some Pedialyte. I gotta tell you, there's no excuse for shit to taste that bad anymore. Why does it taste so bad? Like, I get that it's half kind of like medicine, but like it shouldn't taste so bad. Even children's Tylenol, when I give my daughter children's Tylenol, she says yummy. That shit is like acetaminophen. It's actual poison turned into medicine. Pedialyte is literally just like Gamma water, and it tastes, it's like somebody took Mrs. Butterworth and then took all the fake maple out of it and just left you with corn syrup. It's so horrible. Sorry, my reading's a little slow today. Sorry, I need to ask, why is someone named I Long Live Quebec streaming in my recommended tab? I can't be held responsible for everybody on this website. What's your problem with there's people doing all sorts of crazy stuff on Twitch every day. I'm not the arbiter of Twitch. People don't have to ask me what I should like approve their username or anything. I don't. It ain't your fault. Yeah, I know, but like, why are you asking then? I don't understand. Were they asking you? I mean, they were typing it in my chat. I think they were just typing a message. What, like to nobody? It's a little unusual. Isn't that what chat is for? I thought chat was for, first off, complaining that I'm late. Secondly, complaining about the docket. Thirdly, complaining about whatever we're actually playing when we finally start playing a game. Not the docket, which is future potential. We're talking about kinetic energy now. And then at the end of the stream saying like, fuck you, go die. And then afterwards being like, man, I can't wait till he goes live again. Something like... And then years later being like, the shows have never been as good as they were with the one that I just typed hate messages for 5 hours straight. Honestly, it feels good being at like 80% brain power. Because I literally, like, normally the messages go by and I can read like 3 or 4 of them before the flood takes them away. It's just not working right now. I can only process the emotes. In a way, I feel like this is what it's like to not have the burden of genius. Is this what it's like to be an average person? And I see a line of text, and rather than read it before I can tell myself, don't bother, I just say, I'm not reading all that, and just let it go by and look at the spinning fish. It's kind of beautiful. Honestly, does anybody else think that the ending of 1984 is kind of like a good ending? Because even though Winston loses his freedom, he's happy. And he probably like has a much better social life now that he fits in with everybody else in society more. Spoilers? Bro, the book came out 38 years ago. If you were going to read it, you would have read it by now. Doesn't he die? That's a fan theory, Topher Grace. I don't analyze subtext, okay? If it's not written in the text, if it's not in the damn super text, I'm not interested. I was just about to read it. What are you in like 11th grade English class right now? Yes. It's not that surprising. I was thinking yesterday, it's kind of crazy that people born in 1998 aren't 5 years old. I know you're like 25 now. You should be 5 though. That's insane. Hey, I was born in 2004. That's kind of crazy too, because like that's the year for me. I always think of it, that's the year I Heart Huckabees came out. Really puts it in perspective. 2004, I'm gonna be sick. NL's taste in movies is esoteric. Excuse me, David O. Russell is a well-known director. Partially well-known because he got into a screaming match with Lily Tomlin on the set of I Heart Huckabees, but also he did Kicking and Screaming, not the Will Ferrell one, I'm talking about the good one from the 1990s. Come to Commercial Drive. Listen, nobody that's visiting like on a business trip and is in downtown is going to Commercial Drive. For a local, sure, come down to Commercial Drive, go visit Il Grotto del Formaggio or whatever, get a medium sandwich that's bigger than your head, tastes delicious, get incredibly rude service from the people making your sandwich and the person that cashes you out, but it's worth it because it tastes amazing. Yo, those paninis are good. Me having an anxiety attack trying to figure out where I line up for the sandwiches at Il Grotto del Formaggio when there's a long line. Do I line up where it says line up here with an arrow, even though that looks like it's at the front? Or do I line up where it looks like I'm supposed to line up because there's someone there looking at their phone? And also, listen, Il Grotto del Formaggio, I'm about to drive you crazy. I'm putting you on blast. If you have a lineup and the lineup is long, You need to move the placard that has the ingredients to the point where you actually interface with the sandwich artist, okay? Because they go down the line. Have you been served? Yes. Have you been served? Yes. Then they get to me and they're like, what kind of sandwich do you want? And I'm like, I don't know, because my ass hasn't even seen the placard yet. And then they just list it for you. What do you want? We got small focaccia, large focaccia. You want muffaletta? Do you want bologna? Do you want ham? Do you want, if there's an extra upcharge for roast beef and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you gotta, this is why at a restaurant like this, they put the placard up on the ceiling, like on the wall, so you can read it from any point in the restaurant. Instead, they got a little, it's just at the top of the counter. Anyway, would love to hear your thoughts on this. So true, so true. We should just get started or whatever. Okay, so here's how today's stream is gonna go. We're gonna play a little bit, maybe like an hour of Super Auto Pets. We have a sponsored stream for Endless Dungeon, which I know you're gonna say, didn't that come out 9 years ago? No, you're thinking of Dungeon of the Endless. This is the remaster from Amplitude Studios, who you also know from Endless Legends. Dungeon of the Endless, actually one of the most underrated games of all time, without a doubt. Kate played so much of it, she even played against the dev. I remember that. So, we'll be checking that out for a couple of hours, maybe more, depending on how the runs go. And then what are we going to do after that? I have no idea. You were so close to a full docket? Listen, motherfucker. It's been a long week, okay? Single dad, sick baby, 1 day reprieve, daycare closed for half the week. They're only open 4 days on a normal fucking week to begin with. Then I catch norovirus for the baby, lost 5 pounds in 2 days, shitting my brains out. My wife left me, bottom text. Meanwhile, like, people are like, yeah, that's, oh, I feel for you, I feel for you. I'm an empath, so I feel for you. By the way, fuck you, you didn't take the alpaca. Twice. Go die. Excuse me, my wife left for a week. I did not turn into a divorced dad, though. Do you see me growing ill-advised facial hair? Do you see me on testosterone replacement therapy? Do you see me posting really, really premature thirst traps on Twitter with workout gloves on and talking about how, oh, it's deadlift day? It's been, sorry guys, sorry, I'm just really drained. Today was deadlift day. By the way, my favorite day, hashtag deadlift day. Do you hear me talking about the Joe Rogan experience? Absolutely not. I'm just a guy. Don't give me units with 1 HP, man! Do you see me getting addicted to sports gambling and tweeting insane stuff about, like, college basketball 25 times a day? No, it's not happening. I'm literally just a dude. How are you so in touch with modern archetypes? I'm 34 years old. I don't know any divorced dads, but I've met some. I know I said it the other day, but like at the gym, that's the scariest guy to be like in the squat rack next to you is the divorced dad who has AirPods in and his music is so loud you can hear it through his headphones, through the air, through your headphones. Because at any moment, you know this guy is about 5 seconds away from either snapping and putting his head through the mirror, or alternatively, breaking down in tears and requiring consolation from a complete stranger immediately. What's he listening to? Listen, don't make me a bad guy for this, but I do feel like divorced dads have the worst taste in music. At least my generation of divorced dads that exists exclusively in my head. It is based on no evidence whatsoever. But I feel like they're still listening to, like, early 2000s nu metal for sure. So true. Limp Bizkit, actually Creed. They're like, I'm living in my own prison for now, right now, for real, for real. Scott Stapp is just like me. I also cry out to God, seeking only his decision. Gabriel stands and delivers, I've created my own prison. Yeah. Dave Matthews? Listen, I got no problem with Dave Matthews except for the time that he dumped all that sewage on people, but that might not even be his fault. The jury's still out on that one. What do you think Zoomer divorced dads will be like? I don't know, man. It's just too far in the far-flung future for me to figure it out. I don't have that kind of creativity today. Hey NL, do you feel like your streaming style changes for a sponsored stream because they're less interaction based? Or no, sorry, because they're more of a business interaction? You're gonna make me act up a little bit. Would you ask this question of the auteur Joss Whedon because you saw a bottle episode? Excuse me, Mr. Joss Whedon at San Diego Comic-Con. Can you talk about your philosophy for how do you feel internally when you make a bottle episode versus when you're doing a long multi-season arc like when Willow converted Dawn to the dark side? It's not necessary. You just, if you're entertained, enjoy the entertainment. If you're mildly entertained, second monitor, something up on the first monitor. If you're not entertained, go watch something else. Recognize how cold it is out in the recesses of Twitch without the shining light of banter, and then return. And remember how good you got it. That's all you need to know. You don't need to worry so much about why is, you know, the machinations behind the scene. Did you use DocuSign or HelloSign for this one? What's the mutual indemnity of the contract? Is there a non-disparagement clause? It's not necessary, okay? It's irrelevant to you, the end user. You got nothing to worry about, I promise. What's the worst class you ever taught? What do you I exclusively taught, like, South Korean children how to speak English. You want me to go off on, like, some Korean 8-year-olds? Any worst class I taught, it had absolutely nothing to do with the curriculum, I'm sorry to say. Like, this might be a little bit, like, this might pierce a bubble for you. Like, if you were, like, kind of a shit kid in 2nd grade, and you thought that your teacher respected you for, you know, like, you guys kind of sparred, I promise you that they did not. Let's put it that way. I promise you that when they, you know, eventually graduated you from the class and didn't have to deal with you again, they definitely do not want to ever see you again. Like, they don't want to meet you at, like, 17 and then be, like, reminiscing over the times that you guys sparred in 2nd grade. They literally just want to, like, live their life. If you were a good kid, I mean, honestly, I could still take you or leave you at this point. We're basically strangers. If I saw some of the kids that I taught 10 years ago in Korea, like when they were 10, now they're 20, I would be like, you know, it's nice to see you again. I'm sure they would tell me what happened in their life since then, and I would be like, I don't know. It does sound really rude, but it's like, I don't know. I didn't go teach ESL in Korea for you. I did it for me because I had no direction. It's not about you. If I wanted to get into teaching for the kids, I would have gotten a teaching degree. Instead, I got a biology degree and said, what the hell do I do with this? If anything, I should apologize to them that I somehow had an impact on the formative years of their life. When in actuality, I was just collecting a paycheck and kind of winding down my contract as non-combatively as possible. What the heck? I can't believe I got a win. How do you feel knowing there's probably some kid who looked up to you? You're making me very sarcastic today. I apologize because it's a bad look for me. Don't get me wrong. But this is like stuff, it's just life. Like, what do you mean, how do you deal with it? I go to bed, I wake up, I eat, I do my job, I pick up my daughter from daycare, I bring her home, I cook her dinner, we eat together, I put her to bed, I go to bed, and then that's how I deal with it. People were like, how do you deal with the fact that you were responsible for someone's education? I don't know, I took a job as a teacher. I went home at the end of the day and said, God, I can't do another day of this. And then I went to bed, I woke up, I did another day of it. I'm just a guy, I don't know why you gotta make like, I'm not saying that my life is not important. It's just like, not every single action is steeped in, how does this affect LeBron's legacy? Mostly, I'm just concerned with, every morning there's like a to-do list has been made. Some of that stuff is on there like daily tasks, and some of it pops up throughout the day. And then you just like, You do the task, you do the task, you do the task, you do the task, you do the task. And at the end of the day, rather than being like, what does this mean for, you know, how future generations are going to remember me? You just go, I'm really tired. And then you go to bed and you wake up the next day. But it took me a long time to be normal. So I guess I understand where the questions, where they come from. Hi, Tomo. Do you want to leave, buddy? Damn, how old is Tomo now? You don't worry about Tomo, okay? He's living his own life. I consented to opening my life to this kind of asymmetrical late-night talk show inside the actor's studio minutia, okay? This nonsense. Tomo is just along for the ride. You don't ask him questions. You ask me questions, okay? Anyway, I don't remember. I think it's, I guess he'll be 10 this year, now that I think about it. I would love to sit on a jury with NL. Dude, no doubt, if I ever got the jury summons, my ass is... I am not naive enough to think I would be selected, even if I just talk like I normally talk. Because I'm... unwillfully loquacious, maybe is a good way to describe it. I like to speak unambiguously, so when people are like, you know, what do you think about X? Then I usually I reply too verbosely. Rather than be like, I feel like, you know, Y about X. Instead, I'm like, well, you know, that really depends. I used to think that X was like this, and then, you know, blah, 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 20 years later. Everything in life is affected by your emotional state as you experience it. Like, the difference between a good day and a bad day might just be what you eat for breakfast. Because then if you eat a good breakfast, maybe somebody cuts you off in traffic, and you're feeling good in like your homeostatic equilibrium, and you're like, oh, they're probably having a rough day, I'll let them go. Whereas if you didn't have any breakfast, you're like, I'm gonna fucking get you, and then that's the first domino to fall that leads you to having either the best day of your life or the worst day of your life. So long story short, I believe that people have no agency, and criminals don't just become criminals due to being bad seeds. There's just something, you know, maybe they just didn't need breakfast on a very fateful day, and that led them down this bad path, and now they're scanning flat screens as 4011 in the self-checkout. And like, I would be saying this to me in my car, because about halfway through the third sentence, they would have been like dismissed, which would have been fine. I don't think they would ever want me on a jury. Also, it depends on the crime. Don't get me wrong. It does. I'm not that based. There are crimes that are worse than others. But if I was on like a jury trial for like, you know, somebody stole something, even if they were guilty, I could definitely see myself being like, yeah, they probably did it, but like, who cares? He stole, you know, he stole a generator from Canadian Tire. Okay. Really? Now 12 of us have to sit here for 3 days? They don't even give us good sandwiches. They give us egg salad sandwiches, and we're supposed to waste, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars in taxpayers' money just to see if, like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, I have no idea if this squad is going to work, but here's where we're at. If you're older than 65, you can be exempt. At first, my initial instinct was, I don't like that because older people have more time on their hands, so they should be more likely to be on juries. But then I thought to myself, no, that's exactly why you need to let them be exempt. Because as somebody who lives in an HOA, under the jurisdiction of an HOA, you don't want people who have nothing going on in their lives, and thus whatever you're doing that they don't like becomes their biggest priority in charge of the laws of the system on which you're living under. You'll end up getting like some Strom Thurmond type filibusters about insane shit like, should bikes be allowed on shared property? Because the tires cause wear and tear. And then what about dogs? Well, if we're going to say that bikes cause wear and tear, then what about dogs? Dogs cause wear and tear. Well, yes, but pet ownership is considered a human right under the United Nations. How about when you see someone bringing their bike up in like the parking garage elevator or whatever, you just be a normal human being and say, hey, have a nice day. That's all you need. Bro, you killed my turkey and screwed up my whole squad. Yo, stop it! No, not again. Okay, at least you only killed the bee. We're still fucked, but like... We have 4. Considering how heinous that was to begin with, I'm not too disappointed in 4. Ever been to New Orleans? I've not been to New Orleans. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go with this, because I don't want to make anybody upset. Kind of. But everyone... my impression of... Okay. I know 3 people, I think, who have been to New Orleans. And with every single one of them, the conversation goes like this. Usually the way it happens is you'll be like eating beignets or something like that at a restaurant. And then they'll say, have you ever been to New Orleans? And then I say no. And they say, you don't need to go. That's basically, it's like the number one comment that comes back after you say you've never been there. And then you have the exact same conversation every time. They always say, the food is incredible. And Bourbon Street smells like piss and vomit, even on like a Monday morning. I've had this same conversation at least 15 times in my life. That's its charm. Bro, I live in a city where it could smell like vomit, like to begin with. I don't need to travel for that. Why do you still have a shop? Or a moth? Because we got lost, man. We got lost in the game. That's why I should just be running flying fish every time. Well, like, honestly, half of the things I do, I basically take from chat. That's just the honest to goodness truth. If there wasn't, I'll be like a grotesque puppy. If there wasn't chat, I'd be running flying fish every time, talking about, you know, what the hell is Hardee's? I've only heard of Carl's Jr. But instead, people are like, oh... Play a game I've seen you play 1,000 times. Don't ever play anything new. Play a game I've seen you play 1,000 times, but do it slightly more different than you usually do. Can you do something familiar? Can I have a cheeseburger, but instead of like barbecue sauce, can you put some Dijonnaise on it? I'm feeling adventurous today. Then they'll say something insane like variety is the spice of life. That's why I order the same thing at the restaurant every time, but I mix up which corn syrup based dipping sauce I ask for, even though I know they're just going to give me like 1 sweet and sour anyway. Perhaps finally use tier 6s. Hey, it's round 3. Don't be one of those people who's like, maybe buy the alpaca this time. It's round, what do you want me to do? There is no alpaca. Sai, I'm never suggesting another super auto pet ever again. What the hell are you talking about? Also, please don't. Sorry, but yes, okay, finally. Oh, man. It just reminds me of, like, you know, every now and then I get to catch... Ooh, yeah, maybe we'll give this a try. People have asked for it. And we'll set it up like that now. I catch Dan doing his... insane roguelite races versus Frost Prime, and I see people in chat when he's playing Slay the Spire, and they're just frantically typing like 7 actions in one message because they know if he doesn't get it all in one message, then there's like no chance he's ever gonna read the whole thing. And then they're like, you need to play armaments first every single time because it upgrades every other card in your hand, and then you need to play this, and then and I'm just like, bro, this is like the 8th time he's played Slay the Spire on stream. You gotta do some self-care, man. You gotta, like, it's not... Because the thing is, there's like 30 other people all typing the exact same shit. He's not reading that. And at this point, you gotta... The problem is not with him, it's with you. Because if I typed that once, and he didn't do it, I would be like, okay, maybe he just didn't see it. Then I would type it again, and then I would be like, all right, I'm keeping my comments to myself. Clearly, he's not interested. Like, I'm in awe of the fact that people will type the same message verbatim, like, 10 times sometimes. And I'm a little, like, in awe in the sense that I think it's admirable, because they really have a lot of self-confidence. But I'm also in awe, I mean, just at the sheer time investment, quite frankly, sometimes. Just the Herculean effort involved in the whole process. Joel's a different story. I understand the male desire to type Joel. Horvat to Boston for 32nd overall and Mitchell Miller. Who says no? What is this, like the worst trade offer of all time? I mean, the pick is something, but like considering he's going to be a free agent, isn't Mitchell Miller like the insane bully that your team signed and then got a ton of backlash for? This is just a psychotic trade. Listen, I know how it is because the Canucks fans do the same thing. They're like, how about we trade like our piece of shit for someone like really valuable? And then like other people will reply and be like, nah, they're not giving up enough. That being said, like it's crazy for me. Horvat to Boston. People are like, I don't know if I could see Horvat in a Boston uniform. It's been 12 years. Like at some point you gotta just... It's just a different color jersey. Like, it's not that big of a... If that's the best destination for him, I got no bad blood. She was like a generation ago. Horvat for Jamie Benn? No, listen, I understand that it's very exciting to be in, like, your first season of watching NHL hockey or whatever. We don't want, like, your shitty league maximum level player on... He's 47 years old on a 15-year deal, okay? You got to give up something to get something good. You're going to have to give up probably, like, a prospect that you think is going to be the best player in the league, but in reality, he's probably going to actually be, like, a career third liner or something like that. I know how it is. You're like, oh, dude, this guy I've never heard of from Latvia... We drafted him 73rd overall. I'm pretty sure, listen, if he's got a low floor but a high ceiling, hey, 24 years ago, Pavel Datsyuk was drafted in the 7th round. You never know what could happen. I would be content if he just turned out like Henrik Zetterberg, okay? So you're going to have to give up like one of your sacred cows, okay? And you'll take on the JT Miller contract? Okay, well now we're talking. But why would we trade for Jamie Benn? We already have like an old dude who has an attitude problem. We don't need a second old dude with an attitude problem. We need some young guys we can exploit on league minimum contracts and build up a winning culture. Imagine watching sports. Why can't I speak today? Imagine watching sports instead of anime. Okay, I'm imagining it. It's easy to imagine because it's like, it's my life. Of course I know him, he's me. What am I supposed to do after I imagine it? Am I supposed to have a smile on my face? Because I do. Sports are amazing, though? Nah, they're okay. It's all the same. Sports, cooking shows, anime, Miyazaki movies. It's only entertainment. Me watching an anime, why is it set in a high school? Anime watchers reading your comment, making a post on r/anime. Does anybody else get annoyed how the common perception of anime is that all animes are set in a high school? Sure, I know that a lot of animes are set in a high school, especially the golden age animes from the 90s, but we've really progressed a lot past that. Plus, it's a very relatable experience. A lot of people have been to high school, and as a result, it just makes a good foundational setting for a story to take place, so it makes it a little easier to relate to all the characters. I'm just tired of having my hobby insulted every single place that I go, even though I brought it up in the first place when they were talking about ice hockey for some reason, and then they said, please be quiet, we're talking about something that's not relevant to your interests, and I said, no, I won't be quiet, and then they timed me out from their chat, and anyway. I've unlocked a Rasta hat. I didn't even, did I not even run the casino that time? It just says, it says start a prediction. You did? Oh, maybe Ahmad already paid out. Okay. I did it, sorry. It's okay. It's okay. You ever see this study with the Skinner box with the rats? The thing that excites the rat's brain the most is when there's an inconsistent amount of stimulus to press the button in order to get a reward. If they know that every fourth button press, they get a treat, they're like, yawn. If sometimes they press it 3 times and they get a treat, they're like, yo! And if sometimes they press it 9 times, they're like, come on, dude, come on! And then the 10th one pops off and they're like, finally! Do the anime rant again? You guys have a serious problem. So can I tell you a moment of import for me as a child? I was maybe 11 years old. One of my favorite comedians, Canadian stand-up legend Ron James. Loved seeing him whenever he came on just for laughs. Thought he was the best stand-up comedian in the world. Hey, thank you. It's the Wessel Pigeon for the gifted subscriptions. Thank you. He finally is coming to Kingston, my hometown. He's playing Yucks under the Marriott near Confederation Basin. It's the preeminent comedy venue in my hometown. All the greats have driven through there. Now, imagine my surprise when I sit down with my parents at the Yucks All Ages Ron James comedy show, and then he just proceeds to tell exactly the same jokes that he told in the Just for Laughs special. And all the adults around me go, ha 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 ha, like it's the funniest thing they've ever seen in their lives. I'm looking around like, did we really like spend all this money and put on our American Eagle polo shirts buttoned up to the top and put on, you know, pants with a button fly just to hear the same jokes we heard on TV? Turns out the answer to the question is yes. So when people hear something funny and then their immediate response is say it again, I'm always transported back to being 12 years old and just wondering what the hell is wrong with people. And to this day, I still don't know. You must hate Squeaks' streams then? Yeah, it's like the 7th time I've seen you type it. If I acknowledge that I've read it, will you stop being weird? I'm sorry. I read it! Just if you type a message that you think is like a 10 out of 10 and I don't respond, it's a tough pill to swallow, but I typed it once. Somebody typed it multiple times. Then they either stole it from you, in which case I apologize for your stray, or you stole it from them, in which case I don't apologize for the stray, because it's not a stray. I did audit them. They only typed it once, but I saw it more than once, and I don't have double vision. So you're either the progenitor of the joke, in which case more power to you, or you stole the joke yourself, in which case, or that's true, it could be convergent evolution. 2 animals both choosing to evolve a tail at the same time, then arriving in the fossil record and saying one of us has to change. Last stand-up you saw? I can't remember. You don't want to hear my takes on stand-up, though. Or maybe you do, because like they're all bad. Not all of them, but... I'm trying to think of the last stand-up special I really liked. I thought Ali Wong's last special was pretty good. I'm a big Birbiglia head, but I haven't seen the new one because it's on Broadway only. It's going to take like 20 years for it to come to Netflix eventually. I loved Inside, yeah, like everybody else. Listen, you're going to say this is a recycled bit, and that's fair, but they just keep coming out. So it's like, it's new recycling. But like, nothing makes me just like yawn my way out of a Netflix comedy special faster than like the preview being about COVID. Which is just like, I get it, But I think the window was really like, you had to be like one of the first 2 comedians that was like making jokes about lockdown in 2021 or 2022. Now every 60-minute special having like a 15-minute bit about COVID and the quarantine and stuff like that. I'm just like, it's actually worse than airplane food. Because you just been down the road so many times. Nick Kroll is insufferable? Okay, actually, this is crazy. But that might actually be the last comedy special I saw that I was like, this is really good. I very much disagree with your assessment, which is fine. It's, you know, there's, the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. He's the son of an investment banker? Okay. I think he's funny. So, what about it? My panda! What does his dad's job have to do with his comedy? Actually, his dad is a private spy? Okay. I've never seen any of his dad's work, honestly. I don't, I'm not like a critic. If Netflix put out a documentary about Nick Kroll's dad, I would be like, whoa, I'm learning a lot about Nick Kroll's dad. But until then, I don't fucking, like, care at all. It's none of my business, quite frankly. Yeah, there's some good, Nepo babies. Here's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, Nepo babies. Oh, you're only famous because your mom or your dad's famous. Hey, probably that's true in like 90% of cases, but there's like 10% of Nepo babies that they would have made it even without the Nepo baby. For sure. Everybody hates Nepo babies, and yet they want to see Wyatt Russell in everything. Make it make sense. He's tall. Fuck you. Imagine defunding Nepo babies. Is this a typo? Imagine having the confidence to get in an argument online, but having the audacity to spell a word wrong in your opening statement. Being laughed off the stage in tears while everyone goes, he said defunding. You're like crying in the bathroom. And you're calling your mom. Mom, you were right. I never should have done this. I never should have done this. The guy whose dad is a private security contractor laughed at me and told me nobody wears suspenders anymore. It's the belt era. Mom, it's a belt era. I can't get past 4 wins today. Some might say it's a lack of focus. Nah. NL, how does your movies per week metric change as you go deep into your 30s? I don't watch, like, I would say I watch... I mean, sometimes I'll have, like, a movie on while I'm setting YouTube thumbnails or something like that. That probably comes to, like, 1 a week. Apart from that, we're literally talking about, like... I think I saw 2 new movies in 2022. People will say insane shit to you, like you should watch this one. It's a 7 out of 10. I only have time for 0s and 10s. Is essentially where we're at. See the menu yet? You see what I mean when I say they say insane shit to you? Why would you put yet on that? It's been on video on demand for what, like 3 weeks? Everyone I know who doesn't have kids is like, I've seen it twice. It's amazing. Everyone I know who does have kids is like, what's the menu? I'm existing in some kind of superposition in the middle where I'm aware of all media, but don't have time to consume as much as I used to. It's good. It's good. It's bad. It's bad. Actually, it's mid. I haven't seen it. I don't know. One day I will. Probably. Yeah, haven't you heard my streams before? I don't even read the menu. Did you ever watch Morbius? No, I didn't watch it. Are you crazy? You said 0s and 10s? True, yes. I believe I did say that. So which of the Marvel movies you've seen in the last few years were 10s? My kid's only 2 years old. Like, this is... I think you just have, like, a lot more fun with life if you stop trying to poke holes in everything to, I don't know, distract yourself from the fact that you're gonna die someday. This is really what it's all about. I don't know if you've seen White Noise. It's mostly about how we distract ourselves with inane nonsense so that we don't have to think about the fact that we're gonna die. That plus James Murphy writing a banger for the credits. You watch the white noise and not the menu? Bitch, you're watching me instead of like Citizen Kane right now. You don't have a leg to stand on. People will be like, I haven't even gone grocery shopping this week. You're watching my ass getting tilted about my media choices. You unlocked boudoir cap. Get that off the screen. We don't deal with NSFW here. Okay, I mean, I gotta break, like, the 4 curse. You know, I watched White Noise for the same reason you're watching my stream right now. Because it was a damn routine. I was shaving my face. I went to Netflix. Oh, new Adam Driver movie on Netflix. Click. It's frictionless. The menu, it's on like HBO Max or something like that, which means step 1, I have to Google HBO Max, the menu Canada, and figure out it's probably on some insane shit like Voodoo. Then I gotta figure out, oh, I don't have a login for that one. I've got to use my cable provider's middleware to pipe in the login that I use to pay my phone bill in order to get the app on my phone. It's gonna take 20 minutes. I gotta call tech support at TELUS HQ. Must be hard getting subsidized healthcare. America, you just need to, like, take an L sometimes. I'm saying that from a place of respect. You just need to let other people, like, in other countries also have problems. Like, the other countries are talking. We're sick of the fact that it's always, we're number one, or like, we fucking suck, we're the worst, we're the worst. But there's never, like, an apology. It's always just like, we're the worst. And then, like, someone from France is like, we know. And then they're like, fuck you! Like, just, we all gotta coexist here, okay? Like, you know what the most annoying part of me getting all these damn gut infections has been? Well, the diarrhea, first and foremost. I would say secondarily is that, like, anytime a Canadian has the audacity to get sick, somebody from Ohio is like, at least he's not American. And you're like, you can't even, like, be sick in peace anymore. You gotta, like, apologize for the fact that, like, your parents fucked in Canton. That's like it's any of my responsibility what happened in, you know, 2002 outside of the Guided by Voices concert, okay? Like, it's not my response. I wasn't there. My ass was in 8th grade. Just let me be sick and, like, annoyed with my own healthcare system. It's not like I'm saying, oh, every time I get sick, I'm not like, let's blow it up and convert to the American system. I'm just like, just let me have diarrhea and be like, I wish I didn't have diarrhea, or I wish there was just a store I could go into that's like, here's your diarrhea pill. It's not all about you. Not one of those. You work from home? Shut up. What are you even talking about? I don't even understand. I'm trying to meet you in the middle here. What are you... I didn't make your life, okay? Your life is not my responsibility. My ass is not in charge of the policy decisions. But diarrhea shits feel the best? You need to talk to 2 doctors. You need to talk to a gastroenterologist, and you need to talk to a psychiatrist yesterday. And maybe a proctologist, because your colon is not right. It is not... Smart play. Very small Sonya, I'll give you that one. I don't know. I've acknowledged, like, it's just the internet. Like, one of the reasons I didn't tweet that I was, like, sick when I was sick is I'm just kind of like, I mean, I'm not trying to make a joke here. I'm just kind of, like, sick of the sick responses. It's like, I can't anymore just be like, I'm sick. The first comment is always like, he almost died, lol. The second comment is like, why do you get sick so much? I never leave my house and I never get sick. Maybe I just have a superior immune system. Hey, why do you get sick so much? You should immediately talk to an osteopath. That's not right. Hey, have you gotten a CT scan? It seems like you're immunocompromised. Whoa, hey, how many times have you been boosted? What's wrong with your immune system? Like, it's just so fucking annoying. Oh, at least you live, if I got sick in my country, it would cost me $1 billion to go see a doctor. And that's why, like, instead, I'm like, I'm just like, I'm not going to be live today. And you don't fucking get to know why. Because you got a comment, I would prefer if you keep it to yourself. Yeah, but is Casey Affleck really better than his brother? He's been in better movies. He hasn't been in a superhero movie yet? Yeah, isn't that why, like, we like him more? I'm just trying to keep up. Or now that Ant-Man's coming out, are we, like, pro-superheroes again because Paul Rudd is, like, a hottie? The hottie one. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. He is certainly not the naughty. If I was hiring Paul Rudd, I would not hire him as the naughty. Seen anything interesting at the supermarket lately? I saw some eggs, and here's the most interesting thing about them. They cost $100 million. And I said, are you kidding me, Galen Weston? I'm not paying $100 million for eggs. And that's the end of the story. End scene. Egg prices, am I right? It's a joke about egg prices. I feel like people talking about eggs are all lying because everywhere I've gone has had like $4 eggs, which is normal here. Okay, we're going to do a simple experiment. This is for Big Punch Man 100. I'd like you to look outside your window and tell me what the weather is right now. Sunny? Okay. I don't believe you. You know why? You're so fucking lucky. You are so motherfucking lucky that it's sunny today. Otherwise, your ass would have gone up in smoke, okay? If it weren't for the fact that this is one of the rare sunny days in Vancouver, you would be in a lot of heat right now. So you best just count your lucky stars. That's all I'm going to say. Can I tell you an amazing email I got yesterday, by the way? I have to find it here. I don't know. I think I went to like a mixer at some point many, many years ago. And it was sponsored by a mobile game growth hacking company. And to get in, I had to put in my email address, which was worth it to get like 8 free drinks. So I've been getting emails from them like once every 3 months for a decade. Here's one that just came in. Ryan, combat mobile gaming's revenue declines. Mobile game revenue is declining. Here's how to fight back. And then I'll save you the body of the email. The answer is decentralized finance and NFTs, which is just like, I mean, if you thought mobile gaming had been declining, you should check out that market, because I think that it's probably one of the few that's been hit worse, quite frankly. It's just the way it seems to. Do you enjoy League of Legends? Yes or no question. I'm going to answer your question with an audit, just so you know. Do you enjoy League of Legends? Yes or no question. 8 minutes ago, opinion on LOL. 11 minutes before that, do you hate LOL? 3 minutes before that, is it true that you hate LOL? I just pulled up the subway, what do I get? I just pulled up the subway, what do I get? Where does Inside Out rank on Pixar cry moment list? What Pixar movies are S tier based on cry factor? Come on. I did have a good tweet, but Chiblee was too much of a coward to tweet it for me, and I'm too much of a coward to tweet it, but instead I'm just going to say it. MFs will really be like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to use your pronouns. It's just too much to remember. By the way, can I have a foot-long cold-cut combo on Italian herbs and cheese with lettuce, spinach, tomatoes, red onions, cucumbers, pickles, black olives, hot peppers, and just 1 line of mayo, please? This is the most +2s I've ever seen in my entire life. I am living for it. Brought him back. I knew we were going to bring him back. Juice in the stock. We had a little banter bear market, but we brought it back with one incredible day. Here comes Jerome Powell to talk about today's moves in the market. Worst stream of all time. The NASDAQ has plunged 5%. People are saying that they're putting all their money inside of their mattress. They're taking it out of the bank and they're burying it behind the shed in the backyard. Is it true you hate League? I don't... Listen, there's no problem with League. The only thing I'll say about League is the same thing I'll say about Valorant. Which I think I'm just going to start saying Valorant, because it's just funnier. I think whenever I see a streamer that's like playing Valorant, I'm like, okay, they're quiet quitting today. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Especially because when you see a streamer that does 8 hours of arguing about politics, I'm sure they're fucking tired. And they're like, okay, now I'm going to be off, but be on, you know? Like, I might as well get paid for my off time, so I'm just going to stream some Valorant. It's just, I see it as the same thing with League. Whenever someone's like, normally I do something else, but today I'm streaming League, I'm like, okay, it's like a day off, day on. Nothing wrong with that. That's like me with Super Auto Pets, honestly. Have you seen Season 13? It's a nightmare for bot lane. I don't even know what that means. I don't understand. Shouldn't they be on season like 130? At this stage of the game? It's been out for like 20 years, right? What's your problem with LOL? I feel like I'm being gaslit right here. I think that's the problem with MOBAs, is that, at least from a streaming context, MOBAs are like insanely fun to play. They tap in, they like brain jack you into thinking that like I'm having a great time. But speaking of brain jacking, just chill out for a second, okay?
Hey there.
Hey.
Welcome to Endless Dungeons.
Hey.
Rodeo Open Day.
I got a new complaint.
You'll...
Very excited today to be checking out Endless Dungeon, ! Endless in the chat. You may be saying this game sounds familiar. Well, do not adjust your television set unless it's a TCL, in which case we're in the same boat. And I'd like to apologize to you and commiserate with you a little bit because mine keeps turning itself on and off for no reason. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Regardless, first off, thank you to Sega for the sponsorship before I get into it. You can check out the game with ! Endless. You can scroll down below the video description and you can see a link that will take you to, you could pre-order the game on Epic or Steam, which gives you access to the Final Rodeo Open Dev, which is a little pre-release playtest where you can play the game and then also give your feedback to the developers for its eventual release. Amplitude also made Endless Legend, a 4X game that came out, I'm going to say 7 years ago. A little bit like Civilization, but with more fantasy elements attached to it as well. They also made Dungeon of the Endless, and this is like a reimagining of Dungeon of the Endless. It's a roguelite tactical game where you have to escort your power crystal through dangerous corridors and enemies spawn and you kill them and so on and so forth. Now, I'll be honest, I played Dungeon of the Endless quite a lot back in 2014. I think it was 2014, but it's been 8 years, 9 years, so I'm looking forward to doing the tutorial again to get back into it. But we're going to check it out. Click on the left mouse button to shoot. Destroy all the tanks in the room to practice. Okay, I can do that. Easiest play of my life. And then I'll enter the next door. Freeze evildoers. Next slot discovered. Excuse me. Oh, he's my friend. I was like, they're gonna kill me in the tutorial? How dare you? This is your crystal bot. Keeping it alive is mandatory to survive and leave the zone. You must defend it at all costs. Not this guy. This is the crystal bot. In case of danger, you can keep an eye on the status and health of your crystal bot at the center top of the screen. Okay, fair enough. I love that, I mean, I'm cherry-picking a comment from chat. I'm not going to disagree. I do love the aesthetic of the Endless games. Like, Dungeon of the Endless, I remember when it came out, it was one of those games I was always going off about how, like, I don't want to say underappreciated, but how underrated it was. I think the same goes for Endless Legend as well. People will, like, I mean, maybe I shouldn't disparage a competitor when I say this, but people will, like, bend over backwards to make excuses for Civ. Then, like, a new great 4X game comes out and people are like, I'm a little hesitant for some reason. They just let yourself go for the vibes, man. Okay, I know I said I optimized for comfort. I am going to raise the quality setting one more level, I think. Please don't make me remember NL's 2014 voice. Hey, someone in chat today said you have a great speaking voice. Did you take classes for it? And it was just so nice to finally get like a compliment for my voice instead of what usually ends up taking place, which is people saying, hey, I haven't been here in 8 years. Why do you sound different? And then I reply, I haven't been here in 8 years. Who are you? Or you haven't been here in 8 years. Who are you? And they say, why so toxic? Did you do voice speaking lessons? No, okay, it was just a joke. Danger Will Robinson. Did you add more noise suppressing foam? I swear there's more. It's an important lesson for everybody, I think. And the lesson is that the human brain is... It's a fickle thing. It changes based on our emotional state, and then it changes our emotional state. It can cause some runaway interactions. Even, I think it's just the fact that maybe the game is darker than the average game means that the foam is kind of like giving the appearance of like being larger because it just blends into the background a little bit. I'm telling you, I did not add more foam. Anyway, I forgot this is a real-time game. If you'll just excuse me, I gotta head back to my crystal real quick. My Joel got me banned. I mean, you're just lucky that I'm not alt-tabbing. That's all I'm gonna say. Because, like, there was a moment, let me just make sure you're actually bots, where there were, like, 5 comments in 4 seconds that were like, is it just me or is the frame rate a little choppy? And I was like, I don't know, can you read with your eyeballs? If this game was in borderless windowed, you might not be around to tell the tale. Let's just put it that way. And then me catching heat. Like, someone... People, the game is on my SSD. People are like, why is it framey? Someone said NL put it on his HDD. Someone went off on me in chat that said, I can't believe I'm watching this guy when he won't even put stuff on his SSD. Someone typed, come on, bro, ... really? And I'm like, no, not really. Source, they made it up. Can you blame them? Yes. Yes. No, not only can I do. I do. Anybody ever tell you you look like... Yeah, okay, stop. I know there was no disrespect intended. It might have even seemed complimentary. But if you're about to mention 2 bald or balding pseudo-celebrities, yes. Trust me, I know. People... The only time I ever want to hear it is if people say, hey, has anyone ever told you that you look like Stanley Tucci? That one I accept. Agent Smith was not balding? Bro, look at his hairline, dude. His ass was balding. Why do you think he was so mad all the time? He looks like Vegeta. Vegeta is not balding? Oh my god, you guys... Okay, you're right. Vegeta was not balding. He was just born with the widow's peak. For sure. When's the wig stream? Honestly, I'm anti-wig for myself. You can wear one if you want to, but I simply find that they're too damn itchy, man. So you've tried? Well, yeah, like, have you ever heard of a little event called Halloween? Halloween is the devil's holiday. Look it up. Hey, Angela, I looked up Halloween. It doesn't say anything about all those human sacrifice things you said. Well, where'd you look it up? Oh, on Google. Oh, of course, you can't go to Google. All those results are, like, bought and paid for. You just, like, can you simmer down? Holy frames. If I have to read that message one more time, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind. At least there was a period of time during the stream where we were getting Holy Frames Batman. That one was like way worse. I thought that joke was retired like 2 decades ago. I didn't know we were still saying Holy X Batman. It was the first message I saw. Like from birth? Dude, we should open this door, right? Free resources? Yo, I'm a genius! Although they did break all my stuff. But in spite of that, they will never break my soul. I got given the wrong order at McDonald's today. Okay, here's my question to you, okay? Was it the wrong order? Did you get the wrong entree? Now, I know it's a little much to call what they sell at McDonald's an entree, but you get the idea. Or did you get the wrong dipping sauce? Because I feel like if you got the wrong dipping sauce, I mean, you went to McDonald's. What do you expect? You know, you're not getting the white glove treatment. If you get the wrong sandwich, or even the wrong category of food, like if you ordered chicken nuggets and they gave you like a bagel BLT or something like that, then you can complain. But if you simply got the wrong dipping sauce, your order is right as far as I'm concerned. You can still be upset. I got literally nothing of what I ordered. Okay, the next question though is what did you receive? Did you order one meal but then receive 2 people's worth of food? Because then you can't complain either as far as I'm concerned. No, I previously had been of the opinion that McDonald's doesn't make any mistakes, which is a ridiculous take to begin with, I'll admit. But then one time, I mean, I've probably ordered chicken nuggets 200 times from McDonald's. One time, I got a 9-piece instead of a 10-piece. And I was like, I now understand how fucked up this is. Previously, I was like everybody else, where if anybody had a problem, I was like, well, it sounds like you did something wrong. Because that's never happened to me. I've never experienced that firsthand. Ergo, I don't think that it could possibly be just variance. Instead, it's got to be a difference in the way we approach this. Okay, there we go. But then it happened to me once, and I finally understood. I mean, losing a nugget hurts. But I will say there's been times I've gotten an 11-piece, so I can't complain too much. I mean, I also didn't complain. There was one time I went to McDonald's, I got a free McChicken. They handed me my food, there was just an extra McChicken in the bag. Tasted incredible. Exit door, dude! Follow me, please. I would say I've been the benefactor of wrong McDonald's orders more than I've been punished by it. The only thing is, like, I mean, I would say that the McDonald's order success rate is, like, actually 99% correct. The exception is they get the dipping sauces wrong at least 50% of the time. Especially if you order more than one chicken McNugget meal. Like, if you ordered a 10-piece and a 6-piece, you're supposed to get 3 sauces. Enjoy getting either 1 sauce or, like, 5 of the same sauce. And it's not that big of a deal. You just get over it. Hold on, this message is incredible. I picked up my mobile order from Burger King. It was completely wrong. When I checked my phone to complain, I saw that I never finished ordering. I do wonder what percentage of the time that happens. Because you gotta figure that, like, maybe, let's say 5 to 10% of the time you order, your order is gonna come out a little wrong. And then at least 5 to 10% of those have got to be due to an error on the ordering process. I mean, there's definitely been times where, like, I've ordered food on DoorDash, and then when the food arrived, I was like, oh, they didn't bring the drinks. They always forget the drinks. This is crazy. And then Kate's like, oh, do you want to use the app to get a refund? And I'm like, sure, just let me take a look at it real quick. And then I look at it, and I never ordered the drinks. I thought about it, and then just never actually put them in. It happens. I can't say that it, you know, I'm human just like anybody else. I once stole a wrong order because they announced the orders based on street names. The hell? I do hate when at Starbucks you give them your name. Because there's lots of people named the same thing. Like, my impression of, hey, here's my impression of a Starbucks barista in 2040. Olivia 6? Olivia 6? Because there's a lot of Olivias. There's Noah 11. My name is also Noah. Floor completed. I'm crazy at this game. General system failure. Never mind, I'm horrible at this game. Inactive anti-grav system. Well, GD, if that don't shine a light on things. Regardless, on the floor too. I'm crazy? Okay, sure, take me to the labor colony. Also known as Starbucks. I was at a Starbucks and there was sorry. I was at a Starbucks, there was a lady complaining about there being no cinnamon. When they asked for my name, I said it was cinnamon, so they had to yell it out. Listen, you gotta do little stuff to entertain yourself from time to time, okay? I'm not gonna be mad at you for that. Stolen tweet. Whatever, as long as it's funny, I don't care. You know, people are in here posting, like, stolen jokes all the time, like, holy FPS Batman. Those ones don't even make me laugh. Chibli, by the way, I read my Starbucks, or sorry, my Subway pronouns tweet in chat. To chat, I guess I should say. They loved it. They loved it, brother. They went crazy for it. Post it? No, I would never, but they loved it. Oh, man. You should have seen their face. Been drinking it for years. Biggest culture shock when visiting your in-laws for the first time? I mean, I'd say having lived in Korea, there wasn't that much culture shock when I met, or even when I went to Kate's parents' house. I don't even know at this point, like, what would be the biggest culture shock, like, with Korea in general for me. Fan death really was one. Oh, they've made it through. Like, fan death is crazy. The fact that I think it sort of died off in previous, or in more modern generations, but the idea that, like, a fan being on in your room while you sleep could lead to you dying, either due to, like, asphyxiation or, like, the air molecules getting chopped or something like that. That's madness. Again, stop with this. People are like, this is a stereotype. Bro, my wife believed in fan death. It's not a stereotype. This is my lived experience. Even at some point, we had to basically just be like, okay, we got to agree to disagree on this one, because it was like it's a core belief. My mom's Korean and she believes in it. I mean, I think, you know, if I shove the brake free, we're all dead. If I grew up in South Korea, I would probably have believed in fan death as well. Because if you're watching the news, you're like, the doctor said that the fan killed them. I would be like, okay, well, the doctor said it, then so be it. What do you think of Supergiant making a sequel instead of something else? It's an interesting question. I don't know if people are aware of this. I don't work for Supergiant, so I don't have access to the information that led them to make that decision. But here's what I'll say. I don't think you should be cynical about it. It's easy to be like, oh, Hades made a buttload of money, so, like, of course they're gonna go back to the well and be, like, really cynical. But it made a buttload of money because, like, everyone loved it. It's, like, their most beloved game. I know you're gonna be like, you know, well, why don't they make, like, a sequel to Transistor then? Because fucking, like, you and I are the only people that played that, okay? They should really make Pyre 2. No, they shouldn't. Like, just use your head for 2 seconds. You might want that, but should they spend, you know, 200 man-hours, 200 years of man-hours with their whole team, the programmers, the artists, the renderers, the caterers, their office, etc., to make Pyre 2? Come on. I don't think so. Why do they have catering? Because they're based in San Francisco, maybe. I don't know. Just kind of slipped out. Companies in San Francisco probably love being like, oh, don't worry about lunch, we got it catered. And then they bring in like 75 egg salad sandwiches and like 3 people eat them. Hey, we brought in a bunch of donuts that we're going to bill to the investors at 20 bucks a donut. This one has 8 strips of bacon on top of it. He's speaking to my experience. And every Friday at lunch, we introduce a spicy element into the office. It's called, we let everybody drink from the kegerator that we have in the cafeteria. I find that a bunch of young adults working together, it's just made a little bit more interesting by introducing alcohol into the environment. Anybody here work for Audible? I'm asking you to justify your existence to me. No disrespect. I don't want to see people lose their jobs. I'm actually a big proponent of busy work because it's basically like social security, but it also keeps people like puttering. And that's what, especially as I get older, I love the putter. To be paid for the puttering is like a dream come true. Every time we're in Japan, I know I always go back to the same reference, but they have like old men at busy intersections with one of those clickers, like counting cars. There's no way that you're paying an old man like minimum wage with one of these things as 1,000 cars a second zip by is going to produce accurate results versus like a sensor or something like that. But I say I support that. You're lowering unemployment. You're giving people something to do, you know, a sense of purpose, okay? But if you work for Audible and your whole raison d'etre was the project that changed the sleep timer button, so now it just says timer, you need to justify your salary to me, okay? They even had like a little pop-up that was like the new look for Audible. They changed the new look, sleep timer now just says timer. Jesus Christ. How many meetings did that take? How many of my credits did you burn up on $18 donuts and savory scones from the coolest bakery in town to... Like, I get it. It tech's in a hard spot right now, okay? I'm not trying to... I'm just spitballing mostly, okay? I'm not trying to be an extreme hater. I don't mind like a UI update. But like YouTube did it recently too, and I'm just like without being a complete anus. Like 10,000 people got laid off, but you kept the team that was like, we're having a bunch of meetings to figure out whether we should change the Arial font to Calibri. I'm not trying to be... Listen, I don't work in the industry. It probably is more complicated than that, to be fair. I'm gonna die. Thoughts on the rising price of eggs? I don't know. Beats me. I don't work in the egg business. I'm too busy working for Supergiant and Audible. It is crazy, though, to think that like the Twitch subscription price, at least in the US, hasn't gone up in a long time. Like, considering all the inflation we've had. Now, it is worth noting, you do get nothing of value for the money that you put into it. So in many ways, the value remains the same at infinitesimal. But considering that the price of everything else has gone up, I mean, it's never been cheaper. Shh, don't tell them, don't tell them. It had value back when Sub Sunday was a thing. I mean, it kind of, for you, like a little bit, because you got to tell me what to play. And then it really destroyed a lot of value for me, because inevitably it was like long story-based games that people didn't actually like watching. So it was kind of like, it was mutually assured destruction in that way. Staff crawling out of the woodwork. Hey, I don't have any data to back this up. I would say I probably have the most Twitch staff of any streamer that watch my stream. I'm anecdotally speaking, I don't know how many watch my stream, and I certainly wouldn't deign to suggest how many watch other streamers' streams, but I would say I probably have the most. Now they're all juicers. Well, that's okay, because we don't overlap in timelines. Because I'm live like the 15 minutes a day that XQC is offline. Good one. I was just hoping he's one of those streamers who is on all the time. I actually have no idea. You're actually a moon waiting room? I'm just like a dude. I'm just chilling. I'm just raining happiness. Hit a tree flip yesterday on my skateboard. I mean, that must be tray flip, right? That's not tree flip. Did you see the TikTok that was like, my friend jumped his brand new Tesla, and it showed like a young man eating a weed gummy, and it said blood just had his 6th gummy, and then the next clip is a Tesla Model 3 going over a hill, but the thing actually goes like, I mean, the hill is like this, it goes over and just keeps flying. Like it loses almost no air and then just smashes into a tree. Oh, man. It's from last year? Bro, I don't care. It's hilarious. People will be like, oh, you got to see the Grand Budapest Hotel. Oh, didn't that come out like 9 years ago? It's still funny, probably. I don't know. I've never seen it. I don't watch movies in black and white. He lived, which was pretty amazing. I will say, I'm not defending Tesla, but I think we're almost at like a Toyota Prius 2009 situation. Where like now, anytime anyone gets in a car accident, they're just like, oh, my car, I don't know, I was just driving and then the steering wheel like yanked itself to the side and next thing I know, I drove through the plate glass window of a bakery in a strip mall. Like there was the Tesla that went over the cliff, all the news headlines were like, Tesla plunges off of cliff. And I was like, oh shit, was it on autopilot? They're like, no, his dad tried to murder his whole family by driving off. Okay, well then it's not the, I'm not trying to go to bat for the car, but like the car didn't drive off the cliff. The dude drove the car off the cliff. And then there was one in like BC. It was like, BC ferry needs repair after Tesla uncontrollably accelerates into loading dock. And the first like 5 comments were like, whoa, somebody's got to like regulate these cars, which might be true. But then like the next comment was like, I was there. The dude confused the brake for the gas. And you're like, okay, well then we got it. It has, in a way, it's become kind of a Florida man. You're right. Is it, you know, if you just put the brand of the car in the headline, then it's like, it's extra clicks. Elon dickrider spotted. Listen, I may think he's the smartest man on the planet and also the funniest, but I'm just, let that sink in. Get it? Get it? I'm going to die. Nobody tell him about the Vegas tunnel thing? That's just a bit you wouldn't understand. Me when I go into the Hyperloop and actually it's just a tunnel that an Uber goes through. Dude, great bit. I'm so owned right now. I thought I was getting on like world-changing technology. He got me again, dude. I'm just saying, not every car accident with a Tesla is the car's fault. You have to remember, the people who drive Teslas are also bad at driving them. It's not always going to be the car's fault. So I'm sorry, I just saw an opportunity for the joke and I took it. I don't necessarily... I would not even say a Tesla driver is statistically likely to hit me on purpose on the road. Maybe because they're not paying attention. But like, at least they're not like a Cadillac Escalade driver that actually wants me to die. I did see a car. This is not a joke. I swear to you, it's true. We see a lot of novelty license plates in Vancouver because a lot of narcissists live here. Was taking the baby out for a walk. Must have been on Saturday. I saw a car. License plate said "Buy BTC." For those of you not finance pilled, of course, that is Bitcoin. The car, Toyota Corolla. Kind of an interesting choice, because if I saw a license plate that said buy BTC, I would assume that you're rich. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not suggesting that rich people can't drive a Toyota Corolla. It's a reasonably priced, reliable sedan. All I'm going to say is, if you were rich and you bought a Corolla because you didn't want to flash your wealth, you probably wouldn't make your license plate buy BTC. The license plate instead would probably just be like blah, 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 or something like something that's hard to remember. So when you accidentally confused your gas and your brake pedal and crashed into somebody else's Range Rover, you could get away scot-free and they would never remember who it was. It just seemed weird to me. Would love to know your thoughts. What would your vanity plate be? Yeah, I would never have a vanity plate. Because, I mean, I'm not saying you... There's probably many good people with vanity plates. But why would I want other cars on the road to know anything about my personality? I don't know. Like, maybe I'm the world's biggest hater. It's been suggested. But I feel like it just reeks of insecurity to be like, everybody on the road needs to know that I'm a doctor or something like that. Everybody on the road needs to know that I'm driving an electric car, so my license plate says oil lull or something like that. You're right. It should say Campylobacter. I got to drop that at daycare. Dude, the daycare pickup was so much fun yesterday. There was one other parent there. First thing I said was hi. Second thing I said is, so did everyone get norovirus or was I just lucky? And she was like, no, we got it too. And also, like one of the other parents, we were hanging out with them and then they got it too. And I was like, okay, so good. It's not just me then. I'm glad everybody went through the nightmare. But then I did get to drop, and I was getting a lot of sympathy because they know Kate's away. And I was living it up. Because you got to remember, I was in my house for 4 days, pooping my pants for 2 of them, but also doing all the parenting. No disrespect, but Kate is away right now. She's not doing too much. The baby, she hasn't changed too many diapers this week. I was milking it. And then, on top of milking it, I also said, oh, last summer, I had... Salmonella and Campylobacter, and honestly the norovirus, it felt like a walk in the park compared to those. And then one of the other parents said, yeah, but would you rather do that again or do this again without having your wife here? And I said, well, actually the Salmonella and Campylobacter lasted for 3 weeks, so I would do the norovirus again. Oh man, that felt good. He did. It wasn't vindictive at all. He set me up. He set it up, and I knocked it down. God, you grew up to be so lame. What was? Oh, hey, did you guys see the end of Cook at All Costs? I can't believe that Jennifer went for the save box instead of the spend box. I mean, come on. Would you rather have ground beef or filet mignon with that kind of money on the line? Oh, I hate when old people talk about their health and the weather and stuff like that. That's boring. I wish they would talk about media. Plus, of course, we're talking about, like, illness. Like, you know, it's me and other parents at the daycare that just got closed due to norovirus. Like, what are we supposed to talk about? Hey, how was your weekend? Oh, I had norovirus. Oh, okay. What'd you major in university 16 years ago? Of course we're going to talk about it. It happened to all of us. It's the meat of communication, the spirit of communication. We got to talk about, you know, shared experience. Do they know you're a streamer? Yeah. Honestly, it's some of the most normal interactions I've had. Like, they ask, like, no questions about streaming, which is fantastic. Are you insinuating that chat's not normal? Yes. If you type in it. That's exactly what I'm insinuating. We had the requisite, like, oh, that's a little unusual conversation. And I said, yeah, it's a little weird. And then they said, how long have you been doing it for? And I said, I don't know, like 12 years. And I think that was like, oh, okay. Well, anyway. What are you guys doing for the weekend this weekend? Do you think any of the parents watch your stream? Doesn't matter. They're entitled to. I'm not a Hollywood actor. Do actors ever get asked the same question? I feel like they always get asked questions like, you know, hey, what's it like to be a comedy actor and then work on a drama? And then they just, like, spin some kind of yarn. They never ask, like, hey, George Clooney, when you meet someone in public, is it ever, like, weird to you that they might have seen Up in the Air? I think George Clooney would be like, what the hell are you talking about? My ass is George Clooney. Everyone knows who I am. You should self-promote at the daycare. Bro, new parents in Vancouver, not a demographic with a lot of disposable income. I'm after, like, the single bachelor, childless, like, Bitcoin billionaire. Like, one of those people who put, like, 10 grand into Bitcoin in 2011 and now they're worth, like, $70 billion. I'm after that audience. Hey, hey, hey! Everybody relax here! Don't worry, I ulted. You can't... Bro, you can't stop me. I ulted. Get him! Get him! Shoot! Why can't I shoot? It's just going pip, 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 pip. We made it? He's exploding? We made it. Oh, never mind. I'm crazy. Whew. Wow, I won again. I'm the best in the world to ever do it. Anyway, that's going to do it. Endless dungeon. Exclamation point endless. The link should work now. You can click on it. You can pre-order the game. It's available for pre-order on Steam and on Epic. If you pre-order it, you can participate in the same beta that I am playing right now, which allows you to play until the game until the period ends on January 30th, and also submit the feedback directly to the developers. In all honesty, had a great time playing Dungeon of the Endless in 2014. Endless Dungeon, we're refining it. The online co-op, maybe I could convince my wife to play this with me, although she'll probably be mad at my performance. Either way, thank you to Sega for the sponsorship. I'm looking forward to it, and thank you for watching. What do you feel like when you have norovirus? Okay. It felt like I just shot the game. You see, I right-clicked and closed from the taskbar, and it was like the lights went out, and then all the loot dropped on the ground, and then it just faded to black. I felt like I just took a life right there. That was crazy. I don't feel good about myself. Well, yeah, gastrointestinally, Kate, I'll tell you what it was for me, okay? Out of nowhere, I started getting, I would call it like a 3 out of 10 stomach pain. Like, it wasn't debilitating, but it was very unpleasant. And I usually don't get stomach pain. I'll get like gastrointestinal distress, but stomach aches for me are pretty rare. And then I had mild nausea. And then I had 36 hours of on and off diarrhea. Not as bad as Salmonella and Campylobacter. Like once every few hours, I would be like, oh, I got the urge. And then I would have like a very nasty bowel movement in the toilet. And then as of yesterday, I felt pretty good. But I would describe it as also like a little brain fog, weirdly enough. But I think that's just partially due to 2 days of being like lethargic. And then like having not eaten much over those 2 days too. Hold on, the dang Elgato's not working. Tomo, did you adjust something with the cords here? Hold on, I can fix this. I just gotta follow the cords, okay? That's not lethargic? Why don't you tell me more about how I felt while I had this? The JKDC. The JKDC. Purple name. The JKDC. It's no problem. Don't worry about it. You wanted to be pedantic? Maybe I'll be pedantic. I'll read through every message you've ever written. We'll see who wants to be pedantic. I'm getting like a flashing screen, but it's not coming through. Like I'm getting like one little flash of video, and then it's gone. Like one single frame. The next stage of troubleshooting, is it just the software? Let's see. Answer, no, it is not just the software. It's something on the hardware level, okay? In that case, let me do this. Let me plug, unplug, replug, then an unplug, replug, and then let me look at this bad boy right here. Maybe it's just not slotted right in the thing. You turn off the switch and back on again? Yeah, I don't know, maybe like 100 times. Check the USB cable. I did, but hold on first. Account created March 3rd, 2012. Following since February 24th, 2022. It's almost your 1 year anniversary. Rest of the messages, actually surprisingly positive. Okay, you get passed on this one. You survived your audit. I think it probably is the USB cable. I mean, this USB cable is a little bit scuffed, don't get me wrong. I'm going to try and unplug, replug, but it may take the whole stream offline. I know you're going to say why. I don't know. I didn't invent electricity. It's just the way it goes sometimes. Hello? Okay, so the stream is online, but it did break my camera. The device is in use by another application. What other application is the device in use by? Why don't you just tell me the name of the other application? It's not my camera, it's my game capture. If the FBI wants to look at my game capture, like, you know, by all means. Hello, my camera is not back. But it came back for a split second because you can see this image right here. Hello? How about this one? Hi. No, it's just it's a single image, okay? It's a nice image. Did that change? Hey, okay. Who wouldn't? You know what happened? I love software. I closed the game capture software, and that allowed my cam link to be reselected by OBS. Sure. And then we open the game capture. It says no signal, but we press this button. One moment, please, and it works. Okay. And that's what tech support is like. Turn everything on and off, check all the chords, change absolutely nothing, and then it'll work. Anyone else wish it wasn't winter right now? Dude, I'm sick of winter. I'm over it. I've still got a vestige. Now, the weather didn't have that much to do with, like, the fact that I crushed my thumb in the door, but, like, it was a mitigating circumstance or surrounding circumstance. Winter is chill, stay mad, haters. Oh, do you think it's chill when there's a, when the person in front of you on the highway hits their brakes, but they don't have snow tires on, so then they just start skidding uncontrollably, and then you maintained an adequate safe distance from them, but the person behind you didn't maintain an adequate safe distance from you. As a result, due to their inability to drive safely, you end up getting hit in the rear, spinning out uncontrollably into the other lane, and then dying. Because that doesn't sound very chill to me. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess we should just accept the ice caps melting. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that human life is the only life that mattered. I guess I didn't realize we're not supposed to care about the fact that global warming will probably lead to, like, a lot of insects having a golden age or something like that. I guess we're just not supposed... Oh, care about all animals. All animals. No, not the insects. Let's value human life over all the insects now. Nah, the insects are dying too. Okay, but someone's got to be loving it, right? Maybe? What about, like, snakes? Turtles? Ooh! Algae! So true! Won't somebody think of the algae? Please play something we can backseat? No, I love when chat is just in awe of chip shots instead. This is the best chat by far. Why do you think I keep going back to the well with golf? It's not just because there's no other games. There's other benefits as well. Ooh, I didn't even see the pink putter last time. Definitely not putting that on. Did you see there's a Geogussr in the lands between? I did. I'm never going to play it. And you can point to this clip when it gets posted on the subreddit. Did NL ever talk about, hey, long-time lurker, never watched the stream. Did NL ever say anything about playing the Elden Ring Geogussr? I wouldn't watch it, but I would love to know that he did it. Just interested. Thanks. The thing is, I respect the Elden Ring Geogussr. I don't know the lands between. I could probably tell you what Limgrave looks like and crumbling Farah Missoula, and I think that might be it, honestly. K-Lid looks like a Death Grips music video. At the end of 2023, are you going to rate the best emotes of the year? I don't know. We'll just make sure like we're all alive, and then we'll talk about December plans. I don't know. I'll be a different person in December. I wouldn't promise anything that far out. He will not rate jack shit. You know what? Probably true. It's a good point. So just say you're not doing it? Okay, I'm not doing it. There you go. Maybe I would have done it, but now that you say you're not doing it, now I'm not doing it. I don't know. I don't have any plans for December. Did you see the tweet that said, everybody asks, have you watched this or have you watched that? How about you watch my fucking kids so I can... I forget what the punchline was, but I was like, man, I so agree. Like 100 people added me in the tweet, and I was like, it's true. That's what it's like. Oh, how about you watch my freaking kids so I can go stand in my shed for an uncomfortable amount of time? Do you have a life outside of work? Honestly, like not, well, yes, being a dad, but outside of those two things, no. Which is why I've been talking about how I need some hobbies, but I was talking about it yesterday. I was like, what do people like in their 30s like even do? Apart from like go out for brunch. Golf is why I'm always talking about golf. That's why I was thinking like the Rotary Club, you know? You get to volunteer, it gives you a sense of purpose, you're doing something with your life, and then it was like, meetings are Thursdays at noon, and I was like, you gotta be joking. Where do they meet? At the retirement home? I practice karate, learn Japanese, and do woodworking, get your shit together? How old's your kid? And how many hours do they have in their iPad daily? What's the inside of your fridge look like? I do have one hobby. The Peloton is a hobby. It's also like, you know, it's not that bad ranking-wise. It's not necessarily restorative, but it's good to do. Board gaming? No. Next. Sorry. No, I'm not going to be getting into the Cones of Dunshire. I was talking about it with Dan, and it's like I actually, because people are saying like reading, it is fine. I'm not knocking those as hobbies, but I need something that'll actually get me out of the house. Because something that happens all the time on like a Sunday or a Saturday, I'll look after the baby for like a long time, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm like burned out. I need to take a break. So I'm like, Kate, can you look after the baby for a bit? She's like, sure, no problem. And then like after 15 minutes, I'm like, I don't know what to do. My ass is just sitting here, and then I just go back upstairs, and I'm like, okay, I'll take over. Which is why I need something that gets me out of the house so that I'm not tempted to just do that. Which is like, especially now, when it's just me at home, I put her to bed, and then I'm like, what am I going to do? My ass just goes to bed. Am I really going to cost myself an extra hour of sleep just so I can watch like The Last of Us or something like that? What did I tell you? Become a Lycra guy? No, I don't want to bike like on the road. Like my fitness is sorted for me. The great thing about the Peloton, well, the worst thing about it is that road cyclists with 75 watt average output like think they're better than you just because they've got the full USPS drip, even though I would smoke them. I would tell you I would smoke them. The actual best thing about it, though, is that my odds of getting hit by a fucking car on this thing are near zero. But people are like, oh, well, at least if I'm out on a real bike and I get hit by a car, it won't be my fault. Okay, you'll be the most right man at the pearly gates. I'm happy where I stand. With the Peloton situation is sorted. It's all I've ever wanted. I will look God in the face and walk backwards into hell. But I like definitely need some out of the house hobby or I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to lose my mind. Stand-up comedy? Bro, stop telling me the hobbies you want me to do. Send it. That's a second job. Hey, we're still getting there. Just suggest the perfect hobby instead. It's not that hard. Sure, I can't think of it, but we got lots of smart people here. My ranking points. It's dawning on me, my ranking points. I think disc golf would be fun too. Dude, pickleball would go hard too. But honestly, I got so desperate, I looked at the local community center to see what kind of classes they have. And I was like, okay, here's my schedule. I would be available from like, wait a minute. I lived, bitch. I was like, I'll be available from around 6 to 9 p.m. weeknights and weekend nights as well. And they were like, okay, here's the classes. Drop in intramural basketball and not applicable. That's it. It's just the only things, it was just drop in sports that I don't really like, which is fine. I'm not mad that they're being offered, and nothing else. And then like all the cool classes, like all the cooking classes and shit like that, they're all offered at like 10 a.m. on Wednesday because the only people who run them are retirees. And that's like a perfect retiree schedule. Shit drives me crazy, man. Genuine question. When your kid is a little older, would you get into smoking weed? Don't say get into. Like I'm not knocking smoking weed. And don't think I've forgotten about your name, Hoob Hoobinson, known chatter from like 2016. You're not quite up there in the Dr. Flopper echelon, but you know, you're still in the damn key value pair. Please don't talk about it as if it's a hobby with like, you know, meat to chew on, okay? It's a vice, that's fine. Everybody's got them. Like, oh, dude, he's on his smoking weed arc right now. I can't wait until he discovers indicas. Me, when I get to the sativa arc of my weed smoking career. Oh, solid finish. You could watch Evangelion. I said something to get me out of the house. I feel like no one remembers this. But back in 2017, I convinced him I was religious and as a result didn't drink water for like a week straight. Yeah, you're right. Nobody remembers that. Well, you remember that. I'm not M-bisoning you right now, but yeah, that didn't make a huge impact on me. You could beekeep? Come on. I live in this city. I'm not just trying to shoot... Like, here's the thing. I think people get annoyed when you shoot down the suggestions, and I understand why. But, like, a hobby is, like, a big deal. You know, it's not one where you're going to say yes to, like, 20 things. I don't think I'm built for beekeeping. I don't really like bees that much. Hiking is definitely something that could be on the list, though. I think hiking makes perfect sense. I already like to walk. It's outdoors. Gets me out of the house. Good exercise. I like eating seeds and nuts as a pastime activity. Some Tai Chi outside. Unfortunately, the Tai Chi classes are all at 9 a.m. on Tuesdays. But that's one where it's like, it's deserved. Why not play video games? Bro, because it's fucking weird to be like well, you explained it, it's not a knock on video games. Just like, Genshin's gonna be fine, okay? They don't need me. The thing is, it's got to get me out of the house because otherwise there's like parental guilt, which is like, I could be watching my child right now, but instead I've offloaded it in the name of self-care. And as valid as that is, it's easy to succumb to it. I know like this, most people, depending on what they're doing in their life, they might have the opposite problem. I feel like as you get older, I notice this in older people, but also in my parents especially, there's almost more of a danger of like doing too much and never relaxing instead of doing too little. Like, you ever go to your parents' house and you're like, it's too fucking clean in here? Like the house is already clean and your mom is like, I'm going to get up early tomorrow and clean the house. You're like, no, you should just like you should go out for a walk or something like that. You should go, let's just go to the mall and go shopping. Let's go get some lunch or something like that. That's the mode that I'm switching into. Is like for so long, because the baby's so much work. When they're younger, I'm used to being like gas pedal down most of the day. So as soon as I'm like off baby duty, I'm like, it's chore time. You're like baby duty, few hours, chores, few hours. Well, maybe like an hour. Baby duty, few hours, chores an hour. Baby duty, few hours, chores an hour. Bedtime, repeat again. Which is, it sounds like, oh, everything's like copacetic, but it leads to like burnout and, you know, being overly stressed out. You're not getting like, you're not budgeting yourself like some relaxation time. Honestly, what's great is that my job is relaxing. At least looking at the screen is relaxing. Chat, sometimes not so much. But you have to keep yourself honest, I think. We're definitely going for it. By actually forcing yourself to take some relaxation time. Because I don't know, right now I don't have the kind of personality where I'm like, hey Kate, I'm gonna go play Warzone for 3 hours because I need some relaxation. Can you watch the baby? Like I would just, in like 10 minutes I would be upstairs. I'd be like, somebody kill me with a Groza. I might as well. If I'm not gonna have fun, I might as well just look after the baby all day. Boxing? I don't know, maybe. I'm down a weight class thanks to the norovirus. Train for the next chess boxing? I know, okay, listen, I know it's the joke. But the suggestions that are like, start doing stand-up comedy, maybe you can get a Netflix special. Why don't you start training for a chess boxing event that 100,000 people can watch? This is not relaxing. This is a second part of work. You're falling victim to the same thing that I've fallen victim to. Boxing could be relaxing. Oh, I think it could be therapeutic. I think it would be golf, except for the fact that hiking is cheap. And golf seems like very expensive. We'll figure it out anyway. For now, I just got to get through the next 2.5 days. One day. Next one day. What about solo camping? It's not my tempo. I do appreciate the suggestion, but it is definitely not my tempo. I don't even like duo camping that much. Golf works out to about $10 an hour once you have clubs. Okay. Before you have clubs, what does it work out to? Because that's the situation I find myself in right now. $0 because you can't play. Okay. $10 an hour plus 1,000. It's not that crazy. I bullied Apollo into buying like a $1,500 stationary bike. Disc golf will cost about $30 to get started. Yeah, but then I gotta hang out with the Hoobensons of the world, right? No disrespect to disc golfers. My brother in Christ, you are one. I don't even know how to spell sativa. No! And this is not a knock on rock climbing, but I'll just tell you, I hate it. I'm like bottom heavy, for sure. I feel like everyone who recommends rock climbing, and I'm sure there's like reinforcement from the activity here, but they're always like 6'2", 110 pounds and have forearms like a person who's been baking since like 1971. And they're always like, do rock climbing, it's fun. And then when I do rock climbing, like 80% of my weight is located below my waist. So like, I get that you use your legs in rock climbing, but you also use your grip, which is not a strong suit for me. And also, I don't like heights. So my ass is just up there going like, okay, time to come down. And also, like I don't like roller coasters. And I feel like rock climbing is kind of like, it's like a pedestrian roller coaster. Because it has the same sort of social peer pressure element where people will go, come on, climb this thing that's like way higher than you're comfortable with. Come on, get like really anxious for, you know, once you've, like skydiving. People are like, yeah, you know, it'll be like 2 days of low grade anxiety while you think about the skydiving. And then it'll be like really terrifying for like the 10 minutes that you're in the plane getting up to altitude. And then it'll be horrifying for like the 5 minutes that you drop out of the airplane and pull your parachute, but think of how happy you'll be for a second when it's over. I think I would go hard at pickleball, though. The problem is, like, I just, no disrespect to septuagenarians. I know pickleball is branching out. There's even, like, 50-year-olds that play it now. It's very inclusive. But, like, they need to stop doing that shit. Like, I get it. You're retired. Congratulations. Fuck you. Start running the pickleball. You don't have to do it every day at 7 p.m. because I know that's like 2 hours after you eat dinner, your ass is getting sleepy. But can you just let one of the pickleball sessions a week be at like 7? It could even be at 7 on a Saturday or something like that. Do they all have to be retiree friendly? Because your sport's gonna fucking die. I know it's growing faster than any other sport on the planet right now, but just let me have this one, okay? What time are they? 5:45 a.m. Monday morning. That was a great shot. Yo, Stans, thanks for the raid. We were just talking about chess boxing. Ooh. Maybe chess golfing? We were also talking about old people complaining that there's no young people at their hobbies, and then them using their incredible lobbying power to force all of their hobby meetings to be at like early mornings on weekdays. I still can't get over the fact that the Rotary Club meets at noon on Thursdays. I still can't understand. Like is the Rotary Club just accepting that when the current Rotary Club members are gone, then the thing's just, that's it? The Rotary Club experiment is now over? They probably meet over lunch. Why don't they just meet over lunch on a Saturday? On a Saturday! Started competing, Rotary Club. Dude, now we're talking. I never even thought about that. Somebody rearrange the letters in Rotary real quick. I got an idea. Rotary Club sent my ass to Belgium for a month when I was 17. Shit was goated. What the hell? I gotta get my ass into this club, man. Why not photography? This is now turning into me insulting other people's hobbies, which is not something that I want this to be. But whenever I see people walking around taking photos with like a good camera, I'm like, what, there weren't enough of those already? I'm not saying I'm right, by the way. I'm saying that I'm being an asshole about it. But, like, whenever I have to delay crossing the street so someone can get, like, a good shot of a Vancouver landmark or something like that, I'm like, can you just Google image search, like, what the steam clock... There's so many, like, moody black and white images of the steam clock. Like, does the Earth really need another one? How often does it happen? Well, it's every 2 weeks. We're out of suggestions. You did good. You did good. We got hiking. We got golf. We got joining a boxing gym. But the thing with the boxing gym, for me, I'm scared of having to spar with divorced dads because they don't know their own strength. I think they got a lot of trauma there. And if they, you know, I'm just saying if I caught them in the jaw a little bit, they might come back with a doom, 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 doom. Pole dancing. Now that's one I hadn't considered. Would I catch some backlash for saying that pole dancing is hands down the funniest workout of all time? Now, I'm not saying it's not a good workout. I 100% could not do it, at least in my present condition. I'm not saying it's funny because it's evocative of the adult entertainment industry. I'm saying it's funny because your workout is like there's a pole and then you like climb on it and you put your leg over it and then you go like this. You go like, and then you spin around. It just looks humorous to me. And I'll go into the strip club like it's a comedy club. I told you, I've been to a strip club twice in my life. I hated it both times. And this is not me being like, I'm not like other guys. I think men in my generation don't really like the strip club because it's weird and uncomfortable. We're a generation that grew up with the luxury of being horny in private, turning it into a social experience and also adding food for some reason just makes it seem sad and pathetic. It was not a comfortable experience. Like, it wasn't like just that you feel like bad for the dancers, which is not for me to say. It's more like I was just like, what are we doing here? My dad tried to take me to one after a breakup when I was 21. Thank God it was closed. Man, I can't even imagine. Experiences that would kill me where I stand. Going to the strip club with my dad while depressed. I think if you're depressed, the strip club is like the worst place on earth for you to go. Because it's kind of like a depressing place. How dare you? Especially, I think one time we went, it was like 1 in the afternoon. There's like 6 people in the whole place. And they're like, welcome to the stage, Montana. Bow, 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 bow. And it's just like, just a lady like half interested dancing on stage. I'm just a bachelor looking for a partner. She's looking at you. She knows you don't have any money. You're looking at her. You're like, does she know I don't have any money? I'm 19 years old. I'm wearing an American Eagle striped polo shirt and khaki shorts. Like, we both know that there's no mutually beneficial fiscal arrangement that's going to happen in like the next 4 minutes before the song Genuine Pony ends. Like, it's not going to happen. All right, well, wearing my airbrushed Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord all over t-shirt in the club. Will we make the finals? We did not. This was not a banner day for golf, that's for sure. Slash marker, switch sports, go. All right, I'm out of here. So I don't think I'm live tomorrow because I mean, daycare is just closed every Friday. This is not a great week for it. And then I got to pick up my wife from the airport at midday anyway. Like, it exactly bisects the stream. So I don't know. I would say safe bet I'll be back on Monday. I was going to say, like, maybe I'll try to fit in a stream this weekend. I don't know. We'll see. I wouldn't plan on it. Don't do that? Yeah, but my ass, like, needs a break. And streaming is, like, kind of a break. It's at least a break from changing diapers. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Oh, you're right. Movie to movie. We should do movie to movie. All right, I can't. Because it's our daughter's friend's birthday party on Saturday. And then Lunar New Year, so I'm visiting my in-laws on Sunday. And then we'll come back and one of the kids of the birthday party will have the Kraken variant of COVID. And the daycare will shut down for 14 days straight, and then it's St. Patrick's Day, so they take a week off, and then at that point it's almost Christmas again. So I mean, there's no point in getting these kids readjusted with one another right before the holidays. We got Sex, Lies, and Videotape and Mission Impossible. Okay, this has James Spader in it. That's all I know about it. Oh, it also has Andy McDowell. We're trying to get Andy McDowell, Peter Gallagher to Tom Cruise, or Laura San Giacomo. Who else is in Mission Impossible 1? Ving Rhames. Peter Gallagher is in American Beauty with Sissy Spacek. No, Annette Bening and Kevin Spacey. I've got it. Peter Gallagher, American Beauty. Kevin Spacey. 7. Brad Pitt, Interview with a Vampire, Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible 1. It may not be the least gaps, but that was pretty quick in terms of getting from an origin to a destination. That was pretty quick. It's a clean line. Nice par, nice par. Interview with a Vampire, kind of a deep cut. Well, in my head, I was like, he's been in some movies, man. Like, Brad Pitt has been in a lot of movies. He's only been in one movie with Tom Cruise. It's a deep cut. It came out in like 1994 or something. It's a bit of a deep cut. Actoral. They were in a Dash movie in 1970. Are they still working? They still made a movie in 2021. That's crazy. Filmography. Honestly, we got a lot of 7s. We got some 8s. This is like it's a good-looking filmography. What is 3 letters from 1991 with an 8? It's with a 5 comedy romance, 1999. It's like song and dance or something. Then this is just 1 letter, a drama romance thriller from 2001. That's O. That's the Shakespeare remade Othello one. But I don't remember who was in that except Julia Stiles. But Julia Stiles was not making movies in 1970 because her ass would be fucking like -9 years old. Still making movies. 2012. Still making movies in 2021. A lot of history, some fantasy. This is going to be The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games. Is it? Maybe it's not The Hunger Games. But 2012, it's not even the right number of letters. But this is it's not the Maze Runner. This feels like a young adult fantasy novel turned into 2 movies. I don't have a guess. Right now, I'm assuming it's an older gentleman. I'm going to say that it's Jeffrey Rush. They are older than Jeffrey Rush and have never been in a movie with them. Okay? I'm so sick of these 70-plus actorals, man. I'm losing my mind. Can you give me an A-list actor of a middle age? Older than Jeffrey Rush. So they're old as dirt. No disrespect. Who's an old-ass actor? Okay, like Alan Arkin. That dude, he was in Catch-22. He is younger than 88, just to be clear. But we did find a movie that he was in with him. I've never seen Catch-22, so I don't know. Younger than Alan Arkin. Somewhere between 71 and 88. How about Malcolm McDowell? No, they're between 79 and 88. Let me guess. And they're also in charge of setting the times for the weekly Rotary Club meetings. It might not even be a he now that I think about it. It might be a she. Who's an old-ass actor? How about Philip Baker Hall? No, he's not in here. He's an old-ass actor. Bob Hoskins. He's 71. Clint Eastwood. Wrong. He's 92. He's old, but he's too old. Look at 2006. There's an 8.5. Drama, thriller, crime. That's The Departed. Oh, it's Jack Nicholson. Is it Jack Nicholson? He fits the bill. No? It is The Departed, though. Huh? Tobey Maguire. Abigail Breslin. Martin Sheen! Where's Mass Effect 2? Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'm trying to think, how many Martin Sheen movies have I seen? I haven't seen Apocalypse Now, which is like devastating, I know. I have seen Popstar Never Stop Stopping, though. Excuse me, I don't believe it's called Never Stop Never Stopping. I thought it was called Popstar Never Stop Stopping, but maybe I'm mistaken. Well, that didn't go so well. It is? Oh, well, my mistake. I failed the actoral. All right, get me out of here. Francis Ford Coppola is calling. He's in tears. I read a story. I don't know if this is true, but I read a story about Francis Ford Coppola on the set of Apocalypse Now, where he said, Marlon Brando, if you don't get in there and read your fucking lines right now, I'm going to go kill myself. Now, that makes me want to see Apocalypse Now, because I hear that movie's amazing. But I'm like, man, he really wasn't afraid to go to the damn, the damn mound, right? I didn't realize they hired Marlon Brando thinking that he was going to show up as Marlon Brando. But instead, he showed up like 150 pounds overweight and completely bald. So they had to shoot all of his scenes in like lighting that obscured his body and the top of his head. It's a bit of a Chad move in some ways. He's sitting in the dark the whole time. Anyway, I'll send you over to Apollo's stream. Why not? Enjoy yourself. Behave yourself. And I'll see you on Monday, is my expectation. See ya. Are you going to play Gotham Knights? Oh well, oh well, oh well, oh whoop. Tell me more, tell me more. Are you in Arkham yet? Tell me more, tell me more. Is the Riddler a threat? And oh, those Gotham Knights.